As the trade war continues to play out, the United States announced a delay on some of the tariffs that were due to go into effect on September 1, the delay until December 15. This initially, caused markets to sell off. We're watching a bit of a rally now. But are the tariffs actually working, and are they an economic strategy or a re-election ploy? Joining us to figure this all out is Isaac Bolantansky, Compass Point Director of Policy Research. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I think we should separate two different items. First is the delay that we got today. And the delay that we got today covers some consumer goods in that $300 billion tranche. And that delay really is just for certain consumer goods, laptops, cell phones, video games. And it would be from September 1st, when the 10% tariff was supposed to go into effect, to December 15th. And I think it's important to focus on that first. That delay is more about jolly old Saint Nick than it is about the trade talks themselves. This is really a focus on trying to at least partially shield the American consumer heading into the holiday season. And so that's bucket number, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, no, do bucket number two.
Yeah. So bucket number two is all of the other tariffs. And all of the other tariffs are undeniably, unequivocally, absolutely a tool that is being deployed by the White House to pressure China into a broader deal. And as those tools have been deployed, and we've seen the positions on both sides of the Pacific harden, I think that the market has slowly come to the realization that there will not be a broad, sweeping deal before the election. All that we can hope for, in reality, is a detente that would stop this retaliatory spiral that we've been in.
So, especially on the jolly old St. Nick front and giving tariff relief on those consumer goods heading into the holiday season, does that give credence to the idea that the whole trade war is sort of a re-election ploy on the part of the president?
Yeah, look, I'm of the view that two things can be true at the same time. On the one hand, our trading relationship with China is undeniably uneven, and there are fundamental issues that need to be addressed. And on the other hand, I think that the president and most Republicans, as they head into this 2020 cycle, want to run on the economy. And I think that there are real concerns in Republican circles around the idea of how higher tariffs would impact consumers in the holiday seasons, and how some of China's retaliatory actions have impacted farmers in particular, given the president's need for some of those states in 2020.
Isaac, you just brought up the farmers. Here's what the president tweeted an hour ago. As usual, China said they were going to be buying big from our great American farmers. So far, they have not done what they said. Maybe this will be different. I don't hear the Chinese have agreed to buy agricultural goods, which they cut off. Where do we stand on that?
We're in no man's land right now. And we're at a point where China is really focused, I think their most recent round of actions at the political heart of the administration, by focusing on these agricultural purchases which hurt farmers in so-called Trump states, and B, with their currency moves, which I think really exposed even more daylight between the White House and the Federal Reserve. And so that was a cold, calculated, and I think political move by China, which has borne some fruit in the near term from a negotiating perspective.
In terms of Trump's reelection strategy as it relates to the tariffs, what is his best plan? I mean, should he delay the tariffs further on December 15th? Because yes, it's into the holiday season, but then there's Christmas, December 25th. So is it, just keep delaying these consumer goods, the tariffs that are going to be impacted by them?
I think the idea is that with this delay, most of the actual inventory will be in the States and on the shelves before that December 15th deadline. So really, they're safe for the holiday season, as it were. I think that what you're going to see is continued pressure from the farming community, and B, corporate America at large, to delay and carve out more and more of these tariffs. And what that means is that $300 billion tranche, this final tranche, is incredibly important. It has direct consumer impacts, whereas earlier tranches were more intermediate goods and capital goods. So what you could see is the White House trying to focus on other avenues of pressure, perhaps increasing the tariff rates on previous tranches or other peripheral steps, because that $300 billion tranche has a direct impact on consumers. And the White House is wary of angering folks, especially as we start thinking about the election cycle.
Hey, Isaac, Rick Newman here in New York. I would posit that given that Trump has now delayed tariffs on this very large set of consumer products imported from China, he's never going to put tariffs on those, because it's not as if Christmas is going to come and go and then Trump is going to say, now is a good time to raise the price of laptops and video games and cell phones. I mean, people still buy those things, and 2020 is an election year. Do you think he can actually ever impose those tariffs?
You know, I think that all that we know is that this White House has more capacity to reset the conversation and to do things that we never thought were possible before. And so I have learned to never say never. I will agree with your general viewpoint that this round of tariffs is the most troubling and concerning because of its direct impact on consumers. So again, I think that the focus on the consumer portion of this $300 billion tranche is vital for the White House, and that they would much rather travel through other pressure avenues to influence the negotiations than that particular tranche. That being said, we've got to keep in mind, we're still in the early innings of this whole thing.
Yes, so we'll see if any of it ends up working. Isaac Bolantansky, Compass Point Director of Policy Research, good to see you.